Mount Okepamo, Mountain back to Atlantic Ocean, Obomi Hills to Country, to educate, elevate, and promote. Yeah, focus on Liberia, for Liberia, for Liberia. From Monday to Sunday. It's focused on Liberia. Talk about home affairs. Hey. In diaspora. Current affairs. Reliable information. Education, entertainment, business, sports, advertisement, articulation. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. From Monday to Sunday.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Ja.
My name is Abina Johnson, and this is Focus on Liberia. Hit it! From Mount Okepamo, Mountain back to Atlantic Ocean, Obomi Hills to Country, to educate, elevate, and promote. Yeah, focus on Liberia, for Liberia, for Liberia, from Monday to Sunday. From Monday to Sunday, it's focused on Liberia. Talk about home affairs. Hey. In diaspora. Current affairs. Reliable information. Education, entertainment, business, sports, advertisement, articulation. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. From Monday to Sunday.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of On Point. This is Liberia premier show on Focus on Liberia. This is On Point. It is Sunday, 4 p.m. on the East Coast. It is On Point. And with me are all the brilliant minds in Liberia. We will discuss the issues as they are in real time. There is no sugarcoating it here. This is how it works. This is why we have been around forever. We are about to celebrate our birthday in September, and it's going to be special. So today in Liberia, we have news as usual. Do us a favor, share the show. Let us discuss the issue as they affect our people, our nation, and actually the world and generations to come. We have a potpourri of topics. We have issues in Liberia, as we know. We have no problem picking topics as this administration is the gift that keeps giving. And we will discuss those issues unbiasedly on both sides of the issue. Ladies and gentlemen, I got some of the brightest minds here we're going to discuss. Let me introduce Mr. Towell. Mr. Towell from the nation's biggest city. I think it is outside of New York and LA. Houston. Mr. Towell, how you doing there, sir?
I'm doing good. Hello to all the panelists. We're just here bracing for the hurricane that is coming in overnight. We're going to try to get out, but it's kind of too late now, so we kind of just buckle down the rally. So hopefully we are all right.
Well, it looks like I'm speaking from the moon. Houston, we got problem. Listen, Mr. Victor, our political analyst. How is South Jersey or North Philadelphia? How you doing there, sir?
Yeah, it is South Jersey. Fortunately, we're not fretting from what Mr. Tower unfortunately is going to endure, but we're hoping for the best for all of you guys. Hope it will blow over, but it's good to be here.
You live in South Jersey?
I do.
Why are you always in Philly?
Okay. We'll talk about.
That's a private matter, man. What happens in Philly stays in Philly. Mr. Elvis Morris, it is funny that I am in Florida and I'm hearing people from the north and the south and the northwest talking about hurricane. It's unusual. How you doing, Mr. Morris?
I'm doing well, Mr. Gayman. I'm a little down today because, I'm sure we'll discuss it, but I'm a little down. I just wish Mr. Kamara would show up on the show today because we want some explanations. But it's good to be on the show.
Speaking of the show.
Good luck. You remember? Oh.
Game check. You know you got to drop the phone.
Okay, there you go. It come back upside down. Mr. Kamara, please adjust your light.
Hey, man, leave Kamara alone, man. Kamara is okay. It's okay.
Mr. Kamara is okay. He's doing that on purpose. Mr. Kamara, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Are you abreast of the topics?
Please tell you if I'm going to put a bump in, Mr. Kamara.
Mr. Kamara, it look like you're sitting in a yellow machine. Are you sitting in a truck or something?
Yeah, I am.
Welcome. Mr. Padmo, thank you very much for producing the show. I know it's a lot of work. How are you doing? How's the family? How is Minnesota?
Man, Minnesota is great, man. Minnesota is great. I always love this time in Minnesota because imagine Liberia. It reminds me of Liberia. This time in Minnesota, the weather is very similar to the Liberia when we grew up. I'm talking about that thing what they're doing right now. Right now it's too hot, but right now, it reminds me of Liberia a lot. Growing up in Liberia, the weather is perfect weather. So it's a sacrifice to be indoors right now, producing this show, but we have to do it for Mama Liberia. So let's go.
Great.
Please send some of that cheerful weather to Mr. Morris. Let him cheer up.
That's right. Listen, it's tough being here, but it's all right. Mr. Kamara has aged in the past 6 months, almost 10 years, but it's all right. Ladies and gentlemen, do us our favor. All of our panelists, please share the show. For some reason, I'm not getting the show. I can't share. Everybody calling me, are you still on? Yes, we are. So, guys, please share the show. We are going to be taking some comment, reading your comments. We're going to take calls if you have them. No problem. But, Mr. Padmo, I don't want to be biased. So could you please go through the topics today? Because I know Kamara going to say, why are you reading all this topic here? Why you can't just say, Waka fainted at the event, leave it alone. I'm sorry, he didn't faint. Go ahead, Mr. Padmo. What are we discussing today?
So today on the show, we're going to be discussing won the civil service agency discovering almost 700 ghost names on government payroll. That's going to be topic number one. And we've seen this through almost every regime. And so once more, we are seeing it again, 687 ghost names. Topic number two, the yellow machines have shown face. But it's still missing. We don't know where it came from, how much it's going to cost, and who is really going to control it. Topic number three, Senator Darius Dillon, the light of the Senate, revealed during an interview, a joint media interview, that while in Buchanan, the senators visited the Worldwide Mission Church and donated $10,000 US, which was part of the $50,000 budget. And it's been reviewed that the Worldwide Mission is a church headed by the father of the pro tem, Senator Yomdi Kanga Lawrence. So it's very interesting that senators are not only visiting that church, but they are donating part of the budget of the retreat to that church. And fourth, but not least, President Joseph Yima Boyka, His Excellency, is currently in Nigeria. I think he's due back today in Nigeria for an ECOWAS summit. But he flew commercial, he flew ASCII Airways to get to Nigeria. And it was a topic amongst members of the diplomatic staff in Nigeria. They felt embarrassed that the president was not flying on a private jet, but he was taking commercial. So those are the four topics for today, sir.
Great. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to add the fifth topic, which is Liberians or the Liberian legislature is contemplating or reviving the idea of building a new capital city for Liberia. They have thrown their hands in the air, things that we have talked about, you all have talked about, the whole world have talked about. There are times when you purchase a car or when you own the car for so long, the mechanic will tell you, my friend, I got to be honest with you, I brought this car here, every day you bring it, I'm taking your money. You might well just go and invest in a new car. It will be cheaper than for you to say, I don't want car note. So you keep bringing the car here, you pay $500 every month to get a repair. So this is where we are. The folks are saying something that Mr. Tanner Polley said during the Elliot Johnson time before he died. He wrote a proposal that this capital city is beyond repair, is not redeemable. We need to move the capital city. We need to start afresh. And most people took it for fun. But from what nature is doing to us, we can now agree that it's time for that discussion. It's time for that discussion to be held. Every part of the country, from academia to the working class, to the working poor, to you and myself who are influential on the international space here. So, Mr. Adio Kamara.
Yes, sir.
Let's start with this number one, which is Civil Service Agency discovered 687 ghost names. Mr. Joker, who used to be on this show that bragged to be the best of the best, came out and said he had discovered 40,000 illegal employees on the government payroll. And the question was, how is that possible when the total employed people in Liberian government payroll is 70,000? How can 40,000 be illegal? After 6 months, he said he had done, I think, 5 ministries, and they could come up with only 677 names. Mr. Kamara, where is the 49,329 illegal immigrants, illegal ghost name? Mr. Kamara, is your government? You want to be the next Kef Hassan that says the president, I spoke to him every day. He's my friend. I can call him now. So you making us understand that Joseph Boyka calls you, you call him, you are in contact. What happened to the 39,000 name, Mr. Kamara?
Damn, man, but I tell you, finish asking the question. I'm tired
Man,
of it.
don't eat my time. Just answer the question.
But look, listen, first of all, you be sarcastic. The man is not joker. The man is joker. Okay?
What he did?
Yeah, you call the man joker. The man not joker. It's joker. Joker. But anyway.
Society joker.
Yeah. So listen, the man did not say 40,000 people on the payroll. Yeah, but let me answer your question now, Mr. Mr. Gilman. Oh, you're funny. You're very funny. But the man put out a notice that 40,000 people, they needed to see them work. They needed to make sure they actually existed. And he gave a time frame. And after that time frame, he realized that out of that 40,000, 600 plus thousand are the ones that are actually illegal. But he did not say, he did not say all 40,000. So what they were doing was a process of elimination. So 40,000 was being looked at around the country. And as I speak to you, it's not even done yet. Believe it or not, in the next 2-3 months, you'll see another 400-500 going.
Mr. Morris, we have total of, I think, 15 ministries and few agencies. They say 40,000. Already 15, they have done about 5. So we got 10 more agencies.
We got about 21 ministries, not 15.
21 ministries? Okay, whatever it is. So we got about 20, maybe 15 to 20% done already, right? And the phone only 600, which is a tiny percentage. Those are you wouldn't about tiny percentage. So now we're gonna have the other 99% or the 40,000 out of the 10,000 10 agents of Mr. Morris.
Yeah, I mean, let's not put any blame on Josiah Jokai. I think he's really doing a good job trying to clean up the payroll in that country. But having a lean bureaucracy, an efficient bureaucracy is a mountainous task. So I think the fact that he's trying to go through and make sure that people are not getting paid twice, dead people are not, being paid, it's a good thing. And the reality is, wherever there's a loophole, it's going to be exploited. So if people know that the government is not diligent enough to check who is on their payroll, who has been fired, or maybe is deceased, and thereby the name should be removed. That's the thing about HR. When you work in a company, HR is on top of things. They should be on top of things. And in Liberia, we know that our country, we're not always the most efficient when it comes to doing, quote unquote, paperwork. So what he's doing is good. And I think this has been an ongoing thing from successive governments. So if he can clean up that payroll and make sure nobody is getting paid twice or 5 times or 20 times from dead people or people who are not actually working in the government, it's a plus. It'll save us some money. And hopefully, before this government leaves, we'll put that under control and maybe we'll put mechanism into place where when people are fired or passed away, we'll make sure that we remove their name from the payroll. And anybody name that's being added or accounts that's being added, we'll make sure we verify it. So my biggest thing is that he will set up a system that curtail these things from happening in the future. Thank you.
Mr. Victor Namwe, I think Mr. Morris is trying to be political here.
Anybody speak the truth in trouble.
Listen, my man. You say don't eat my time, Mr. Namwe. We are talking facts here. Mr. Joker is trying to put things in place according to Mr. Morris. But then on the other hand, you are hearing when you go to the Ministry of Labor, they say Mr. Krua is hiring hundreds of folks. The guy's own hiring agency there. Whether Mr. Tapper send names about 50 to 100 people to the central bank and say you got to hire them. When they talk to him, he said, as party chair, it is my job to seek the interest of my party to get them job. These people are not going through Josiah Joker. They are going directly to the ministers, and the ministers are hiring these people. So If the whole Ministry of Labor is being hired through Mr. Kruger, what 600? You remove 70 people, and you bring in another 1,000 the other way. Go ahead, Mr. Namwe.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I really believe this is one of the bright spots of this government. I think the civil service director deserves some commendation. I think he's really trying, Josiah. But again, this is the performance dissonance that we all know is plaguing this government. You know, they say one thing and they're doing something else. You know, I really thought there was a freeze on hiring. But yes, we know the chairman of the party is recommending people here and there. I mean, we've talked about that. We know the minister of labor is also hiring people. We just heard the speaker hire Ms. Ure in his office. You know, so you wonder, you know, what is going on. But however, I think the story of ghost names on payroll is a story that has been with us from time immemorial. I mean, I've heard people here with me.
Mr. Namwe, why you didn't call it ghost?
and those are non-existent people. Some of the people are actually dead. Some of those people have actually passed, but their names have never been scrubbed off the payroll. Some of those people have resigned. Some of them live here with us in the States and in other parts of the world, but their names are still on the payroll. And there are people who are claiming their salary every month. So I think Mr. Jokar demands he commands some kind of commendation. I think he's really doing well. I just hope that the whole government lines up behind him to give him the support that that he deserves, because what they're doing is they're taking a wind out of his sail. He goes on this side, he's scrubbing the payroll. To do that, I believe the government has to agree to a total freeze until the process is done. But I don't have the details on how the employment is being done, but it just seems to me like one thing is being done from one end and another is being done from another end. But be it as it may, I think the net for Mr. Jokai is that he seems to be one of the few bright spots in this government who seems to really be doing his job like he should.
Great. Mr. Tao, when I was in Liberia the last time I visited her office, and when I talk about these things, the first thing she did was she brought me the glossy binders that have all the policies and procedure written nicely. I say, you got it, it's here. We got a policy. We got it. But guess what? They do not follow the policy, so it doesn't matter how well it is written. It's for evaluation. When the international community comes, they say, do you have policy on this? And that's why Joko is doing that, because the president said that there was a freeze. There will be no hiring until they can go through the process. And yet we are hearing they are fighting. Crew hired, they say the whole Nima County, that's your own agency there, you fill it up. You go to transport, you see where the other man named Tyler. Tyler got his own people there. He bringing people on. The chairman right to the bank said you got to put 50 people on. Mr. Tao.
Let's not forget the LDEA. What is it?
Forget about LDA. The
exactly.
Guinea for the Guinea over there. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. So I see this as two separate topics, man. The problem with ghost name is not just under the Black administration. It's something that has always been there. I know some people from the central bank, very, very high up, and we're talking, and the governors come in and they don't know the amount of ghost workers that are there, and people that are in there that are collecting money. So if this guy can go in and they can clean up the names, I think it's a good thing. I see this to be something good, and we should recognize that. It's two different things. Cleaning out the names of people who should not be getting paid, or payments that should not be collected by people who are sitting in the background, versus hiring people to add them on, is two separate things, so we should separate them. Both really don't have nothing to do with each other, right? Because one is ghost names or payments that have been made that should not be received, that should never be disbursed. So if he's cleaning those out, that's a good thing. Now, if the intent to run a smaller government and if there is a freeze, then they should stop hiring. But it's two different things. So I don't think we should lump them together. Let's look at what he's doing. If he's going from ministry to ministry, if they already cleaned out almost 1,000 names and he done only 5, and let's look and see, let him go through all of the agencies and everything else. Because I have somebody that is a family member of mine. The father retired from LEC because he worked there for over 30-something years. Then the war came, and then they retired him. He never, ever got the retirement money. He went over there every time, but somebody was collecting that money, and he never got it till he died a couple of years ago. So those kind of things, it need to be stopped. So I will say this is a good thing. Let us applaud this. I don't know about the guy himself, but the process that they're taking the approach is very good, and let us recognize that.
Mr. Padmore, nobody in a right mind will say this is a bad thing. I think from the time we were kids, in Basel, they had the people they used to call it the paymaster. Paymaster would come, he would bring a check, physical check, and the paymaster income, everybody in line with it, he can't, you sign that check there. Then not only that you pay the paymaster sign your check, but you gotta give him $5 to sign your check. That's, if you don't get a paymaster that $5, he will not sign your check. Then all the checks from Grand Basel County, after they not pay the people, they bash that remaining there. The reason they call it gold, you can't see who. There's no way you can resolve that issue because you don't see, it's just there. And I'm much older than most of you guys. I'm talking about when I was a teenager in the 70s. This was happening. I was doing talk time was happening. So the new administration going to come in and say, we're going to take these ghosts out of here. Whoever found ghosts, they will go out there and say, then they turn around and say, okay, the ghost is back, Mr. Padmore. How do we? Are you the Ghostbuster? They said, Mr. Joker is the Ghostbuster.
Yeah, my man, let me be so. Let me get a question already.
Joker found 760 ghosts, the 1,000 ghosts come cry. Go ahead.
So here's the thing. I'm one of those people, when it comes to government, I'm very, very pessimistic. We were here, Ellen King, and Ellen found her own ghosts. And as far as we knew, those ghosts were removed. Jawia King, Jawia found her own ghosts.
For more ghosts.
As far as we're concerned, those ghosts were removed. Joseph Boykanaka, you know, find his own ghosts. So, you see, for me, I'm not looking at what Joker is saying. My issue is what he is not saying. And that is, now that you not find the own ghost, how do we stop the ghost from reappearing? What is the mechanism we are putting in place? What is the system we are putting in place so that when the next government comes, we will not find out that, oh, you pay move 700 ghosts, but 1,500 appear later on within 6 years. For me, that is what I'm not hearing. When people die, government officials, government employees, civil servants, when they die, they are entitled to a pension. In order to get a pension, there has to be a death certificate. Then you are removed from payroll. You are removed from under that ministry or whatever enterprise it is. Then you are transferred to NASCOP, you know, with your family, and that's where you take care of it. If you are fired, you are fired. If you don't show up to work after a certain time, you have abandoned the work. There is no process. We haven't heard Jokai talk about any process here, any process at all, or how to do that. But for me, in my mind, in my pessimistic mind, all I see is for space. Okay? The payroll is bloated. It's bloated. Therefore, you got to find space. So if you find 600 ghost names, okay, then you move in. Then you get 600 space for 600 United Participants to come in. What do people go to work? What do people go to work? Let me give you one example before I leave. About 2 months ago, the president announced a deputy press secretary. I'm trying to think of his name. I've forgotten his name. Deputy press secretary to Madam Fofana. That is a gentleman who Martin Colley came out and said that man is not fit to be deputy press secretary because he only graduated from high school. That man has never been to work. Go through all of the press conferences and things like that. He's never been to work. Is he collecting salary right now? He was appointed. And that appointment, it doesn't have to go through Senate confirmation. So if he is appointed, obviously he gets on the payroll, but we're not seeing him anywhere. He's not doing anything. So he just not to help collecting pay. Is this going to be a future ghost name? You know, these are the things that I want to hear. And I'm not hearing it. And until I hear those things, nobody will talk to me about ghost name. Because when a ghost comes, how you know? You can't see the man. Yeah, man.
Jimmy Eastman.
Jerome.
When I hear earlier, Kamara said,
I got a question for Jimmy. Jimmy, if you don't mind.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
You know, when I tell you Congo man, then he get upset with me. But why is it Jimmy always acting Congo on us? Why is it we gotta come here to wait for him all the time? Look at Pablo. Pablo is saying Congo identity, but when he got Jimmy, Congo man gets upset. But he always acting Congo on us. Where you been, my man?
Listen, the man grew up talking about. You know what talking about? You don't say right. He say, "Is it on time?" Because that's what my time say.
I have the time.
Mr. Eastman, you were not here earlier, and Kamara said.
No, the man already got a question. Thank you. The man already got a question.
Kamara said something about you. He said they took 670 ghost names from LEC, and some of those people came from where you were working. They took your name off the list. What you say about ghost names? You see the man say he like Coca-Cola. You were talking about come in, look at him drinking Coca-Cola.
You say you want a ghost name that's sitting out in America, the boy still taking your pay, like, bro.
Yeah, Mr. Ismail Kamara said that you wanted the ghost names.
Well, first of all, let me apologize for being late. Okay, lateness is a bad bad.
It's a long holiday weekend, man. It's a long holiday weekend.
Okay, yeah, there's been many good things going on. It is not prescribed to any tribe, and I don't know why you guys like to deny people who have given their life for their country.
My man, answer our question, man. Don't be the Kamara. You beat around the bush. They took you on the payroll.
Look, listen, ghost names, it is a practice. They have been doing this for time immemorial. What discouraged me most, all the bad traits that were going on before, you know, people still repeating. It's very, very discouraging. You will wonder, but wait, now why are we continuing down this avenue? Why are we continuing the same things we did before? You know, will we never turn the corner? Will we never believe in moral rectitude? Is it going to always be like that? And it ends up appears between yes. For instance, I think we've forgotten what is right and wrong. The other day I heard Honorable Yeka Koluba talking, and he's one of the people who I've admired to be very bold, to be very audacious, and he's somebody who speaks his mind and speaks what is wrong. But the other day when they were talking to him, he was justifying the salaries for the lawmakers, that people come to them and they give them, and they have to help people and all of that. that is not justification. That is not what their responsibility is. If we were to put
I was wrong. I thought Ismail understood the question, but I was wrong. Go ahead, Ismail.
If we were to put the money into the right channel, it would benefit people more than somebody coming to them and giving them little something and helping them little here, little there. That's not the way it's supposed to be. So I think we're not seeing the light of day. We're just continuing with old bad practices. Whether that be Congo man, Gisi man, Gola man, it doesn't even matter. What is wrong is wrong. When are we going to come to that point? When? And then all that stuff doesn't matter. What people, where people are. What matters is how you treat people. What matters what you believe in. Those are the things that matter. People think tribe and things matter. No, it's important. It's good to know his identity, but what matters is what you believe in, how you treat people.
Great.
That is what makes the difference between
Mr. Gilman, 30 seconds, please. I want to provide information, please. No, before Mr. Ismail King, you guys were saying all kinds of stuff. I just wanted to provide information on that because people are watching.
Yeah,
okay.
Mr. Kamara,
okay.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
I will start with you on the second one, then you can provide your information. The topic that you want to get to, because you were sitting somewhere a little yellow.
No, I said talking about the civil service on
I'm coming to you, Mr. Mr. Kamara. We spent too much time on it. Let's go to number 2, then you can address that. Mr. Kamara, your yellow machine, you have profiled your yellow machine. I don't know why you're not wearing yellow today. Your yellow machine has not some. I saw 4 yellow machines. And you are parading from Gardnerville to Brewerville to Tottenhamburg. You're riding everywhere, showing the old thing. Mr. Kamara, talk to us about the yellow machine. Where's the paperwork? Where you got it from? How much you pay for it? What is the fee? What is the cost? And did you go through the PPCC process?
Where will you start talking true? The yellow machine, I want to tell my brother yesterday. But let me just clarify this. All right. Whether you say somebody putting in 1,000 employees is the civil service, the labor minister is employing the whole of Nimba County. Yeah, you can speculate for some people to buy that kind of stuff. That we call it nyama. That's complete nyama there. The Civil Service Administration is not hiring any more civil servant. If somebody pull you somewhere and they tell you that you are an employee and the Civil Service Administration does not recognize you, you're just there. You're not going to get paid from government. Maybe somebody's giving you a start pay. The Civil Service is not hiring anyone. Everybody goes through the Civil Service unless it comes directly from the minister proper, and it has to go through the HR of that ministry, and then it go to the civil service, and usually the civil service rejects it unless it has to do with a technocrat that is missing in that department. So the whole 1,000 people coming in, you're just making yourself feel happy about that one. The yellow machine, we agree that some things were not done correctly. But what I say at this particular point in time, when you see somebody blowing the rest on a spoon for 30 or 40 seconds, you're not very hungry. Usually a hungry man put it right in his mouth before he blow it. You already hear more first. You understand what I'm saying? So what I'm telling you is you put the goat on the rope. You know what I'm talking about. You used to do JBC before, you know. Put the goat on the rope, put the rope on the goat. You actually know what that means. The yellow machine is here. What we're doing now, you know, one day we'll put it back on the ship and send it back, and not happening. So the best thing for you to do now is to go sign up people there, let the people start working.
No, but I'd like to comment on the yellow machine. Wow. Allow me to comment.
Mr. Isma, hold on to this here. Hold on to your thought.
You can't lay you on this.
Well, Mr. Isma, okay, let me come to you. This is, we live in a modern society where we just talk about policy and procedure. When we talk about the rule of law, these are all the pillars of the arrest. And now this man that were here, that were cursing North for 6 years, is telling us, it doesn't matter. You want me to put it back on the plane and send it back? Where do you operate government? Mr. Ismail, I'm shaking. Talk to me.
Here is the thing, and Mr. Kamar, it's not the fact that you brought machines is not alone good enough. We don't know the terms of the agreement of those machines. You could have sold Liberia as far as we know. Maybe right now Liberia it has been sold and we got few machines. It is important that we know what are the terms, because if our future generation, if our great grandchildren have to pay for it, then you have not benefited us. Number two, how are they going to be used? What incorporates? Was there any planning done? You see, getting machines is one thing, which is good, but before you have you get the machines, you have to put a plan in place that we can follow, a blueprint. And what is the worst about is, why is there secrecy? Why isn't it public knowledge of how these yellow machines came to be? Where did it come from? What was the agreement? Why is it being shrouded in this cloak of darkness? It makes us afraid, and why we can't understand why the government is doing this. Why? What is the purpose? It is always going. We have seen that whenever there's lack of transparency, there's something sinister about, and that is what is being hidden. But from just to tell us this is good, and to see Liberians rejoicing, jubilant in the street, it's a frightening thing. I think we've been abused. We're an abused people. We are really abused. But I don't think that now. Before, like people say we were abused, I think that now, since the last 40 years, we are become abused. All this war has done something to us, and we are jubilant even when it's steal for us, and they give us our own money back. We happy. There's something.
Stockholm syndrome.
Mr. Morris, this is. I mean, I have seen a lot, but I have never seen anything like this. Liberia is setting a new record here. How are intelligent people, educated people, smart people that work in government will come and say, we will do this, and then we'll justify it later on. We don't know. Actually, there is no plan. This is baffling, Mr. Morris.
Look, Mr. Gayman, I'm not someone that's easily lost for words, but I will use one word here. It's gangsterism. It's the idea that I can do what I want, and when I do it, anybody question me, I'll give him some like a J reason as to why I did it. I told you the last time, a couple of weeks ago, I said I'll reserve my comments on this until I can see this being verified by the government. Mr. Gamar is saying that, I think other people in the government are saying that the machine is in country. It's not for me or you to even hold these guys' feet to the fire. It's the representative that we imbue with the power of the people that was supposed to hold their feet to the fire. I see someone like Representative Musa Bility, saying that he thinks it's a good idea. If someone is skirting the law and blatantly going against our constitution and our procurement laws, and bringing things into the country that is worth maybe right now you can say maybe hundreds of thousands, because I think you say there's like a few machines, maybe ranging from 30 to 80,000 a piece, because those are pretty small machines. But there's supposedly more on the way. This is a large amount of money. No one individual can give that gift to the country. You don't see individuals, especially foreign nationals, giving gifts to your country without something in return for it. So why are we sitting here acting as if because it's going to bring development? How sure are we that this is even going to bring development? The reality is our president is being a lawless president. From the onset of his presidency on, I saw that he was frolicking with Stanton Witherspoon. or convicted or admitted criminal, I knew that he was lacking when it came to his integrity, because people who like integrity, people who respect integrity, don't surround themselves with people who have no integrity. So for me, President Boyka has shown himself. And I think the reality is we have spineless lawmakers who have awesome powers to keep this president in check. They had the same powers during George Weah time, and they didn't take control of that power to hold this man to account. So for me, I'm disappointed. That's why you see I kind of have a glum face today, because Mr. Gaming, you remember me and you, we talk on the phone all the time. We talk offline after the show. We would discuss. And in my heart of hearts, I felt like Joseph Boyka would probably beat President Weah. I told you that. And that my main reason for saying that is that the people trust him. The people feel like he will be more respectful to the rule of law. He will keep people who work around him in check. He's doing the opposite. He's doing exactly the opposite. So what are the Liberian people supposed to do when you pin yourself one way and they say, you know what, I believe that guy, let's give him a chance. And then you come and you do the same thing that they're trying to run away from. How can they save themselves? How can they put good governance in a place when you fool them and they put you in power and you do the same exact thing that they're running away from? So for me, I just feel sorry for the Liberian people, and I'm thank God again that I'm in this country, because Mr. Ty, would I like to hear, but if I was in Liberia, the kind of person that I am, maybe I'll be arrested. Maybe I will be some kind of
You be
miscreant
looking for
in the
over to
street.
eat, man. Nobody will get time for you, say. You be hungry.
Thank you, Mr. Kamara. But thank God I'm not there. Thank God I'm not there. I'm on the side and I can eat every day, because the Liberian people are suffering. And this government that you advocated for, they're suffering the Liberian people just how they suffer under George Weah. It's complete nonsense. Complete nonsense and lack of fiduciary responsibility to the people of Liberia. And President Boyka should be ashamed of himself, because what he's doing now is on the line of criminality. It really is. And a blatant spit in the face of the Liberian Constitution.
Mr. Nambi, please talk to us, you the political analyst here. What is the purpose of a constitution? What is the purpose of bylaw? We just talk about bylaws and constitution. What is the purpose of bylaws and constitution? What is the purpose of making rules when it means absolutely nothing? You don't follow it. Why do you put things on paper?
Yeah. And that is the reason why we humans don't live in a jungle, because we like organization. We like organization. We are guided by these guardrails. That's what the Constitution is. If you remove these guardrails, there's going to be chaos. And this government, for some reason, has elected not to operate within the confines of the rule of law. And that is very troubling. I see an overzealous, government that's trying, I think they're trying in some ways to do some things really, to impact the plight of our people.
But
why
Mr. Nambe, real quick, if you have the absolute power to put things through the House and the Senate with no resistance, why do this?
Why would you, it's like you have the door, it is open, and you decide to pass through the window to come inside. I don't understand that. I don't know why they have so much difficulties working within the rule. This president is supposed to model that, but most often than not, the violation of the Constitution begins from the executive mansion, and I don't understand that. Yeah, I mean, they're bringing this machine. Maybe he really intends to fix the rules, and we'll find out, how they'll administer this.
The deal coming behind, Mr. Nambi.
I don't understand why we're giving every county the same number of machines when we know all the counties are not equal. But we'll figure out how they intend to administer this. But where is the bidding process? Where are the documentation for this? How much are these things going to cost us? What is the terms of the loan? Is this a loan? What is it? Is it a grant? How are we financing these things? These are questions that I think they should mount the podium and explain to us on a daily basis. I don't think it should be so difficult if they're doing the right thing. So they bring these things and they want to give our people, the shock value. They bring the thing and parade them through the town. Of course, most of our people are gullible. They see the yellow machine and they get all, excited and they're all in the streets. But the question is, when the dust settles, who's going to feel the pain of this machine? We already heard the president has requested the legislature to approve an extra budgetary allocation of over $50 million. Is this going towards the machines? We don't know. And interestingly, these machines are being rolled out, and the president, they're revealing too that they're putting out 600 something ghost names. I don't know if it is an attempt, to neutralize or to step on this information about the yellow machine. I don't know. But look, there are at least a lot of questions. And don't get me wrong, I think it will be a good thing if it is done right and it alleviates the suffering of our people. We will all applaud them. I mean, I'll be the first to clap for them. But why can't we do it right? Where is the PVC process? Where was the bidding for this machine? Where are they coming from? How much do they cost us? What are the terms of the loan? How long are we taking this loan for? All these questions are legitimate questions that we don't have answers to.
Great. Mr. Taiwo.
Mr. Nami, don't blink your eye. So you blink your eye, Walla Gisi gone. I just telling you right now.
Mr. Taiwo.
Yes, sir.
We just talked about people doing things illegally. We saw the disregard for the rule of law. We saw the shooting that happened in King George. They told us that the people in King George had guns, so they shot in self-defense, killed the folks. Later on, the president gave the people, I think it was $30,000 a piece or whatever. He said it was goodwill without the process of going through anything. Then we saw again, police officer just killed a 17-year-old boy for nothing, no investigation, no. This is complete lack of rule of law. Now here we are at the executive level. They brought in some toy cars that look at something, they say police car. They're going all over Monrovia. That car that can't even work in these United States, they say going to work on those roads in Liberia. That thing they say, and they are parading all over. Mr. Tower, it's crazy.
Yeah, the whole thing is when you are cut with your pants down, like the government is, because the first time we heard about the yellow machine, where it was at the retreat, right? Then they quickly said, no, it's not so. It was just a concept. Leo Kamara was saying there was nothing coming in. That was concept. That was just something. And now he's saying it's here. You have no choice. So you see, he just a gangster like his papi. Yeah, it's here. You can't do anything about it. Just accept it. But these are the same things that happen, or similar stuff like the one. If it was under the other administration of Mr. Weah or President Weah, this guy will articulate everything. And for me, this is the problem that I actually have with him. It's one thing when you see that the government did something, they had a misstep, or if they're wrong. You say, you know what, on this one, right? But you can't try to want to defend it. And if you can't defend it, you just say accept it. You have no choice now. You can't. I don't even think being a spokesperson for the government, I don't even think it work that way. But you know one reason why they're doing this, guys, we on this platform and we try to blame the Liberian people, some of us, that it's therefore that they voted them in. The people are beat down and they're helpless. They're going against people with guns. The government have the gun. What are they really going to do? You have a bunch of people that they call lawmakers that are in that place, that they're corrupt. Most of them can't even read. If you're going to go, a whole bunch of them can't even read. Yeah, and this is the problem that I have with this system, this so-called democracy. If I speak on something legal, they tell me, you are not a lawyer. Is Spring Johnson a lawyer? Is Yeke Kolba a lawyer? Is Snow a lawyer? But these are the people that are making laws. You see this? They're not even lawyers. They have no idea they're making laws. But some of us who have done our best to read a lot more than them, many of us here on the show, when we want to speak on something that is supposed to be legal, that they say we need to talk to a lawyer to see if. So that's the problem. But look, this deal here, they're pushing it through because they signed this already. They try to quiet it down. I want to strongly believe, like Mr. Eastman said earlier, once there is secrecy around it, there is corruption. I've been in business for a long time. I dealt with a lot of people all over the world, China, Africa, everywhere else. Once it is not open and there is secrecy around it, that so people money already has changed hands. Some of them have spent it, they can't give it back. The machines are going to come in and they're going to bring them in incrementally, like 2 or 3 come here, they show it until they show up. Whether they pack everything somewhere, because I went to public work ministry, I saw a bunch of yellow machine in a small fence. Why no roads are open anywhere else? And I asked the guy who was the deputy minister, because I knew him, what are they all doing here? It's just there, rusting. This is on Ellington. So that is what we're going to see. These things are going to sit somewhere. Money is going to exchange hands. Nothing is going to come out of it. And this is what we have here. Guys, the country is in trouble. Please let us not blame the Liberian people. The people are beat down. The people don't have any power. The only other thing that we can do is we blame them to say, let them get in the street. Guess what? We will shoot some of them and they will have to fight back and it will be chaos. That would be the only outcome, maybe to force something.
Mr. Gaiman, let me just tag something up to Mr. Tao real quickly. Okay. I don't disagree with him that some of our lawmakers, are not professional people. And yes, that is true. Even here in the States, not all of the legislators are professional people. But this is one of the reasons why they're giving us so much money, because they're giving them money to employ in their offices, right? Some of the students who are going to the law school, even some lawyers, or go across the road and go to the university campus and bring in those little young brains. They have money available to them to hire these people so that they will advise them and then they can do the work properly. I would expect all of them to be, professional people, but they take the money, don't hire the people, and pocket all that money. I mean, what are the laws that they make on that Capitol Hill? What do they do? And this is part of the problem we're talking about. Yes, out of all that money, the money they're getting, part of that money is appropriated for them to hire assistants, a legal assistant, somebody on an accountant, someone on the economy, bringing the best and the brightest to advise you and help you make laws. That's not what they do. And it is unfortunate. I just wanted to throw that in there.
Mr. Gay, my own senator for Grand Bassa County, she's been there going on 15 years. I called her office to find out how many laws she had passed, how many bills she had introduced, how many bills she had co-introduced. 0. 15 years. Mr. Gay, the yellow machines are here. There is no policy and procedure. There's no plan how they're going to be used, who's going to use them, when they're going to be used, where they're going to be stored, how they're going to be maintained. Do we have the professionalism, the mechanism to do that? No plan, nobody knows. But they have a few machines running around. We don't know how much it costs, who they got it from, for what, why are they turned. Nobody knows, Mr. Gay.
Yeah, to the credit of the previous speakers, look, this whole circumstance here, what Unity Party-led administration is good at is propaganda. They don't understand what governance is. Propaganda is what they know how to do best. And since their inception of this leadership, that's what they have done. When the rice price circumstance came about, they put out the 3D, image of this yellow machine to quiet down and divert the conversation of the rice to the yellow machine. When the circumstances of the yellow machine became prominent in the news and people started questioning, but how can you go about doing this? They said, oh, it was just a concept. When that concept thing, was pushed furthermore, they said, oh, the machine is already on the way. So here's the thing. They know exactly what they are doing. They are not good at communicating with the Liberian people. That PR sucks. And so what they know how to do best is what they're doing. Propaganda, propaganda, propaganda. Are they really in the interest of the Liberian people? Absolutely not. What are they here to do? Enrich themselves. 6 years finish, pack your things, another administration coming to power. But let me say this to you. The Liberian population now is getting more wiser, more informed, more information are getting to their fingertips faster than people ever thought. Thanks to Mark Zuckerberg, who created the opportunity for Liberia. Had there been no Facebook, because our country has 0 national television stations. We don't have it. So the Liberia TV is Facebook. And so if there was not such thing called Facebook, how will our people even get news in the 21st century technological world where everything is, like a global village and we can access everything? So there is a problem here with them. They know very well what they have done is wrong. Yes, what they continue to do. They will continue to drain it down the faces of the people, right? So that the people can be, on their side. For instance, parade with the yellow machine in the street, the people say, "What the thing yellow? What are people complaining for?" Exploiting the gullibility of the people. But the truth of the matter is, they don't like pressure. They don't like what they call pressure. A true protest will make them to come to terms that Liberians are serious. But the only way protest will be successful is that when you raise money to feed the people that will come out. If you don't have food, if you don't have water, they will come day one, and day two they will not show up. Kenya was successful because it was well coordinated by the young folks. They have food, they have water in the street, and they were there for days. Even though, unfortunately, I have gotten some images from individuals who live in Kenya. Very brutal. Over 600 people died. The government was shooting live bullets. And I have video, not just one picking, like about 9 bullets in a 9-year-old. It was not easy. Very graphic stuff. But I can tell you for a fact, this yellow machine, circumstances will shock the Liberian people. It is dirty. It is not good. They did not follow the proper channel. They would not follow the proper channel. They would do it the Liberian way. Your leader team, man, kind of thing. Because we have lawmakers who don't have the guts to stand up to this administration and hold this administration feet to the fire, so to speak, and make them to do the right thing. How dare you, can you have an arrest? ARREST. Agriculture, rule of law, right? Education, sanitation, and what? Tourism. And rule of law in your arrest acronym. So you are not applying the rule of law. We have the PPCC Act in Liberia for a reason. You're bringing equipment past millions of dollars and they are not going through the proper process. We don't know how much it costs. We don't know. We don't know who are those people you're dealing with. Are they terrorist group or people who do business with terrorists? We don't know. Where are these machines coming from? These trucks, we don't know. This is not your personal NGO. This is not your personal proper entity. This is the Republic of Liberia. So, for God's sake, it's a public institution. How can you operate this way and you claim to be a man of rule of law, a man that will promote good governance? Where is the good governance here? Guess what it did? MCC lost 277.
How many minutes we're speaking for now?
Listen, Mr. Kamara, don't interfere. You were here
I'm
talking.
not speaking for 9 minutes, my man.
That's a lie.
Okay, go ahead, Mr.
I take the word lie back. That ain't true.
That's right.
It might be better.
What I was into? Untrue.
He drink a Coca-Cola there. He got too much sugar. Don't worry about him.
Yeah. So to sum up this whole thing here, yes, the clever way they lay off 277 people yesterday, 2 days ago. The people went to work faithfully without pay for 6 months. Now you give them 6 months pay and say go home, don't come back until the government have money. Then the people say, but at least we didn't have anything. We keep the work 6 months in row faithfully. Now that we have a little thing, we can still come to work, government. Keep us here. They said no. Go home. These are ordinary folks who don't have any other source of income. Cleaning the city of Monrovia in the street, doing jobs that other people don't want to do. You're laying them off. in the name of government not have money. But these people came to work 6 months in a row, faithfully doing their job.
Great.
Because they protested for that money, you cut them loose.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Gay. Thank you. Mr. Padmo, take us home on this one. This, not only did they do the yellow machine thing wrong, and the people are talking about it, but they compounded that. They now bring in police car yesterday.
I saw no cars, man. That's just a joke, man.
They brought in car. They said the police car. And
European tour car abroad. I think from Europe, not even from America. Anyway.
President Joseph Boakai
Which
said,
cars, my man?
Joseph Boakai said last month, they can stand on social media and talk all they want. I will do what I want. That's what he said. Mr. Padmo, they brought in police car. We are talking, like, if at least some people say, okay, we made a mistake one time. But this is compounding. So that tells us, forget about the rule of law, forget about the Constitution, forget about the policy. This is just the beginning.
Look, I don't know why people are surprised. This is Unity Party. Nothing to surprise you. This is playbook. And they will tell you, it's already here. Okay, buddy, huh? Look, there's a story of a guy who has struggled a lot with his family to get things done. And through his struggle, his family has stuck with him. One day, his wife left the home, and she was gone for 3 days while he worried. When she returned with a small yellow taxi full of bags of rice, fish cartoon, chicken cartoon, oil. The man started to celebrate. My wife has done it. He has done it. The children celebrating.
That's right.
The man celebrating. While they were unloading the taxi, he whispered to his wife. He said, "So, sweetheart, where you get all that thing here from?" She didn't respond. They kept celebrating. He asked her again, "So, sweetheart, who do we owe such good gestures to?" She turned to him, she said, "Husband, don't ask all that question. Don't worry where it's coming from. Just accept the thing. Right away, appetite went away."
Just enjoy it.
I want Bobby Girl today.
That's right. Look, we have been starving for good things in Liberia. But it means you can just feed us anything. You know, there's a common saying, "Don't pee on me and then tell me it's raining."
That's right.
You know? Yeah. Don't be pee on me and tell me it's raining. No. If this thing is so good, why are you hiding it? What is secrecy? The Minister of Information, Jeremiah Pia, came out and said, this is a concept. We are a responsible government. In due time, before we consummate this agreement, we'll inform the Liberian people. We'll inform the national legislature. We'll do due diligence. Today, they say, look, people have asked me before the same question. What do I think they should happen? Here's my response. There is no scarcity to yellow machine. Yellow machine is being built in India. Yellow machine is being built in China. Yellow machine is being built in Europe, in South America, in North America. Everywhere you can, there's yellow machine. Why are we acting like to say this is a scarce item? That where they got it from? That the only place it can come from. So if we hold it right now, we'll never have it again. No. If this government believes that their process right now or their focus should be on yellow machine, that's great. That's fine. They have seen the Liberian people have accepted the idea. All you gotta do now is do it the right way. But they won't do it. Many weeks ago, I told you guys that yellow machine coming. Y'all can go or you can come down. I know Unity Party. Money has already exchanged hands. Let me tell you something. Money finished changing hands, and nobody giving that money back. Who they're supposed to close? They will close. That was happening.
Mr. Pamo, can I ask you a question? What do you think? What do you think the Liberian people response should be to this blatant disrespect of our constitution and our laws?
I think the Liberian people should demand that these machines be returned. I think the Liberian people should demand that the legislature stand up and hold the executive accountable. They should have an investigation, a full investigation into everything concerning this yellow machine. You have to understand something. Right now, United Party is setting precedent. This is how we're going to flow for the next 6 years. All you have to do is just to accept the first one.
I want to ask you what Mr. Padmo said.
If any, we don't have to tell you anything anymore.
Exactly.
Absolutely. I agree with you, Mr. Padmo.
If the Liberian people don't stand up now, today, on this
That's
one,
it.
and say no, just prepare yourself.
Yeah.
Just prepare yourself because you will have 6 years, if not 12 years, more of this. It's time to stand up. Stand up.
Let me add to Mr. Padmo what he's saying.
Mr. Eastman,
yeah.
Before you go, I want to lay the premise of what he's saying. How, no matter what, we began first with the $22 million
for the road.
For the road, it was illegally done. Nobody says anything. We went into the legislature, the Senate, that have no power to pardon, came and said, okay, they got 80 money, whatever they did, we forgave them.
Mm-hmm.
Then they got up and brought police cars. They got up, they brought the yellow machines. I mean, it just never stopped as we are going. 2 buses from Ghana.
Mr. Padmo, please highlight the last comment because Sam Wallo, I think you were not watching the show.
No,
the last comment.
I won't even pay attention to Wallo.
That man saying Wallo, man.
Wallo is a propagandist. He won't come here to tell the truth. So, Mr. Eastman,
yeah,
it looks like the rule of law and everything else that we talk about will never exist based on the 6 major decisions made by the government.
I say the thing Mr. Padmo is talking about, he hitting on the nail. I've been wanting to come in. This precedent that is set, they come in open it wide open. It means now they can make any kind of agreement outside the Senate, who's supposed to ratify it, outside the, forget about procurement processes. That's also all of them are being appointed by the chief executive. What we're about to see now is why, I mean, once you open the floodgates like this, that things can just go on without any approval, without any resistance from the Senate. I think in the next few days, we might see brown envelope talk coming back. But if this thing goes down quietly, the next 6 years, we'll see rampant deals going on. And I'm telling you, I've already heard a rumor that Wallo Gisi was on the negotiation table when they made some of these deals. They just have not told the Liberian people what's going to happen. They're going to write a concession and they're going to pass it in the legislature, and that will be the end of everything. So we're about to see a lot happen right now if this goes on without any resistance.
Wow.
Nobody
touching the mountain.
30 seconds, please. 30 seconds, Mr.
Yeah, Mr. Kamara, go ahead.
30 seconds for me after Mr. Kamara, please.
Let the only opposition come in. I get.
You are not
Are you in opposition? You in power? You say you in opposition?
I am in opposition.
On the show. I don't want opposing what I say. That what opposition mean. I mean only politics. But
come on.
Okay, let me go ahead. Okay, the Liberian people have spoken. They spoke on your cell phones when you turn your Facebook on. The Liberian people have spoken. See, the JNB-led administration was hired by the people of Liberia. It works for the people of Liberia. As long as the people are happy, we will continue to do what the people want. As long as farmers in Gelengoma can afford to put their food on a tractor from Gelengoma to the main quota in Salala, they appreciate the yellow machine. The people from Yangali cannot get to Kakata in Magibi County because all of the roads there are destroyed. As long as they're able to get their palm oil from Yangali, from Holo Farm to Kakata, that yellow machine is on the road, making that road pliable for them. That's economic benefit. What the people care about is proactivism. You and me, we can sit down here, Tao sitting now over there, with engineering degree, we can talk. Let us talk. But just please, my people, pay attention to what the people want and how the people react. Spoon FN carry on the propaganda for more than 1 month. Didn't work. So let's move to the next topic.
So give me 10 seconds. Let me reply to him in 1 sentence. Before Anthony come in.
Okay, Morris,
10
go ahead,
seconds.
real quick, Morris.
Mr. Kamara, when President Boyga was in that hot country shit with bulletproof jacket on it, and he put his hand on the Bible and swear to protect the Constitution of Liberia and to protect its laws. That's what the people are expecting from him, not to circumvent the laws to bring quote unquote good things to them. He swore to uphold the laws of the country, and he's breaking that oath right now. That's why we're holding him
Well, we
accountable.
saw the people speak yesterday. They spoke
Mr.
already.
Gay.
Okay, so Mr. Kamara, you just made the argument that Unity Party people been making all along since the whole debacle of the yellow machine and the violation of the Constitution. That impact versus process is the argument you just made, right? Impact versus process. So you are stating here that it doesn't matter what the process is. What matters is the machine there. They're going to build a people rule. So we shouldn't follow any rule. There should be no rule and regulation in Liberia. They should just do whatever they want to do, and we should just sit there as long as it's going to benefit the people. Are you serious? If this is the kind of country you want us to have, this is the kind of country where you say police officers are not necessary in the street because the people can protect themselves? Wow.
There are drug dealers who gave people turkey on Thanksgiving. I guess it justified the drug dealing. You can go to places and give people food to eat. That means you're doing the right thing.
Thank you very much, guys. Let's go to number 3 on here. Number 3.
Thank you very much.
I will begin with you, and then you can retort. Okay. Number three. You remember Mr. Padmore was campaigning for Dara Dillon. And I said, why? He said, this man is transparent. He will bring some changes to the Senate. He's the light. Dara Dillon turned around when they were stealing. Someone said, but why you guys are taking all this money? He said, as long as in the budget, it is not corruption. It's in the budget. So here we are. They went to Grand Bassa County. They went on a retreat. In the retreat, they put $10,000 in the budget for Senator Lawrence Kanga's father's church. They call it a worldwide mission. They gave him what we see on paper. We know it more than that, but what we see on paper is they appropriated $10,000 to Ome Kanga's church. And Dara Dillon said it's in the budget. My people, do we have a separation of church and state? Is this a precedent now that we are giving $10,000 to church? All the mosques in the country, we should give them
money. The traditional people too. We gotta go in the Zoe bush and go get 10,000 too.
All the churches in the country, we should give them money. Mr. Nambe, this is dangerous.
You know, first of all, I'm troubled by the way, at least the few lawmakers who we thought has some moral fortitude or at least some moral standing, from the Amara Kane to the Yeke Koluba and you know, Darius Dillon, they all seem to have been compromised. I mean, I don't hear any from American anymore. Where is the money he was sending back from the retreat? I don't know. Has he sent it back yet? I mean, as
They're still
for
looking for a receipt.
Are you still looking for the receipt? Okay. So I was going to ask Mr. Kamara before I move on to this. Can you tell me if the $22 million and the $50 million that the president is asking for, did the $22 million just go in breeze, or what happened to the $22 million? Because these yellow machines now are going to come and redo the road. The president
are you talking about a speculation about $22 million given to the Ministry of Public Works? Is that what you're talking about?
The one that he was
It wasn't
forgiving.
speculation. The man admitted to it and asked for clemency.
Let me ask you now. Let me tell you. There was no $22 million spent. None whatsoever. The money that was spent was $8 million. It is a contract worth $22 million for a series of companies. Doesn't mean the money was given to them.
Okay, $8.9 million. Even that.
Yes.
That's not chump change. So I'm asking you, what has become of that money? Because the $50 million is coming to redo the very road for which the $8.9 million has been spent.
Well, you see, that contract is for a span of a certain time. The government still has to run after that time. The government now is intending to take matters into its own hand. Moving forward,
so the Minister of Public Works is not part of the government?
The government is contractually obligated to pay that money, Mr. Kamara.
Anyway, Mr.
The government, when I say the government, I'm talking about public work. You say the public work not part of the government?
Listen, we were not
No, let me make my point.
No, Mr. Kamara, I will not allow you to do that because the public work minister was called, was cited to the Senate.
He was called for the process.
He admitted receiving
he went about the wrong way.
And they pardoned him, Mr. Namwe. You were here. We all saw it. Why is it? Why?
But if you let me learn,
thank you.
If you let me learn, my point,
you're not learning. You got no learning space here.
The man had contracted $22 million out. He said he contracted $22 million. 8.9 of that already been spent. The rest of it, the people will continue to come and work on the road for the next 7 or 8 years or something like that. That's what he said. The $22 million has already been taken out of the budget. But anyway, coming to the point, Mr. Darius Dillon, I mean, it is unfortunate. I believe Mr. Padmo and others, I think, were deceived by this gentleman, because he's anything but the light. We all remember how he upgraded from one flight, one part of the airplane to another part. He flat out denied that until Ranisi had to come in and produce, the tickets and all of that, the receiver, all of that. And then what did he say? He was sorry, he made him machine, whatever. Then he began to tell people, he was going after his friends. Give me a breakdown of all the money they were getting that they didn't deserve. They should return it. And then he got $30,000. And he quietly took that money until again he was exposed. Then he said he said he was giving it to somebody else, and the people told him, "No, we don't want your money. That money is not good here." So it's just one thing after the other. But I think it's a bigger problem that is plaguing this government. The dishonesty. The only thing that bothers me is that nobody seems to be calling these people out in the government. We elected President Boakai. The people went to the polls and elected President Boakai. They did not elect Darius Dillon to be the president of Liberia. They did not elect Yombi Kanga to be the president of Liberia. They elected Joseph Nyeman Boakai as president of Liberia because they believed he would lead us out of this misery. He pledged to come in and do business not in the old fashion, but differently. And that is not what we are seeing. That is not what we are seeing. All of these people are practically doing their own thing. No one's
going to get worse.
Thank you.
Nobody's
about to get worse.
Thank you. And what we are witnessing is the reason why the legislature is out of control, because the executive knows that it will come to the legislature and ask for extra budgetary allocations, and they will promise the legislature your brown envelopes are coming, and they will approve. So then the legislature in turn will turn around and say, okay, You know what? You send us a budget for 650 million, whatever, we'll jack it up to 700 something million because we are now building from $30,000 to $150,000 that each of us will play around with. And then we'll go to a retreat in Buchanan for 4 days, and spend $275,000. And then we'll also take $290,000. Where does it stop? Now they're protesting, they're coming to work in Keke because they're not getting $45,000 every 3 years. Where does this thing stop? I mean, who is in charge here?
Thank
How
you.
is it not business as usual?
And they put it let him play on Keke that is not registered to the Keke.
Exactly.
Mr. Tao, go ahead.
Mr. Tao, this is the government that said George Weah, President Weah government was so corrupt. The PAPD, at least I got a copy of the PAPD here.
I know, right? At least I have a policy.
Yeah, a government that had no plan, nothing written. There's nothing written on paper, nothing. And here, this man is telling us the Liberian people, they elected a man to do the work, so let him do the work. So there is no law, no rules, no constitution, nothing. They said they put 10,000. You go to somebody's house and you get a
The election
check
have consequences.
$1,000 or church. Liberian people tax $10,000. This is a man who said, if the Liberian people give me $100,000, I will get that $95,000 back. I will keep only $5,000 because I am this person. I don't need it. I don't need $50,000 car. Mr. Tao, $10,000 of your money, you from Grand Bassa County, $10,000 of your money, you should be happy going to your church. You go to the church in Grand Bassa.
So this
first,
this audience member wants us to go to the library and make things bitter.
Make things bitter.
Yeah.
We're making soup. We know the man better.
It's bitter already for you to make it even more bitter. Mr. Tower, check me out. Go ahead.
No, it's a tapo.
They already saw what you want to go make it bitter.
Go to that,
yeah, go ahead, Mr. Tower. We're talking about
before I go
$10,000.
to that, I will respond to a question that I will respond to. Hello?
Yeah, we hear.
We hear you.
Yo, you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Before I answer that, I will go to a question that Mr. Morris asked me, and then Mr. Nangwe responded to it. He said that what do I think the Liberian people should do? So let me just make reference to that real quick. The Liberian people should demand, yes. They should become active, yes, but we can't blame them to start saying that what's going on in Liberia, they're responsible because they're sitting there. No, you should know that after the war, this is like a whole new beginning. How the structure that we have now was actually constituted. The people came out of war, barely could eat. When under the darkness, the cover of darkness, this whole stuff was put in place, and all the crooks that I can't even read, I don't write anything, they were put into power. And these people are still under the same burden. So, yes, we should encourage them, but we can't start blaming them that they are getting what they deserve because they're not standing up. If we do that, we are unfair to them. And then we say, we don't want any violence because that is how we want to put it, but they should do it peacefully. No. And it is only force. So we can't be calling for one thing that actually requires force. But then we say that it should be done without force. You're not going to get any outcome. So let me address that aspect. But look, when it comes to this stuff, when did the legislature start becoming a benevolent group? Who gave them the authority for them to be somebody that gave Liberia's money away to any organization, any individual? That's the first thing. So for you to, even for the guys to even do something like this, for them to even admit it and then to even want to justify it that it's in the budget, really let you know that they don't give a heck about the Liberian people. They don't even care how the people feel, whether it is right or even wrong. Because on a normal condition, they're not even, this is not part of their duty for them to go about and giving money away, the country's money away to anybody, whether their dad or whether their mom or any organization. And then to even admit, let you know the level to which they have gotten. You know where the boldness comes from? That they're going to do this and nothing will happen because the executive need them. They need the executive, the judiciary need them. They need, so these three. So if somebody say, get rid of the legislature, what are you going to do to the executive? What are you going to do to the judiciary? Because the three group of guys, they lean on each other and they're just running the country into the ground. Somebody said they don't hear from Conner anymore. When Conner was making all kinds of noise a couple of months ago, 3-4 months ago, I kept saying the guy have no integrity. This is the same guy who they were in power, honor them. They stole $1 billion from the country in the name of that power project. I followed that very well. They sing Transco stuff that's supposed to come from Ivory Coast. It was on a corner. That's a scam that they formulated where they all have caught in that. And then he come here and he want to talk. So the problems that we are having all originated on a corner them when he was in that government as the planning and development guy, finance guy. Then he come here and he want to be talking and people want to say that he's saying something. Guys like Musa Ability, very corrupt. He's on record around 2011, 2012 that I came into the government with 5 million when he was leaving the Ellen government at that time at the second term. I'm leaving with 50 million. It's on record. There's a singer that was sanctioned, ran out of FIFA, out of CAF for corruption. These are the people that are ended up in the house to oversee the country's resources. So none of them have any credibility. They are criminals. My cousin worked directly with him. You know what they did, what he did? Anytime FIFA sent money for football development, that is why Liberia is behind. Musa Ability shared. They were all part of the technical committee. My cousin was caught up into that particular stuff. And he had to be, he was ran out of LFA. So this is what we have. The legislatures have no duty to give Liberia money to anybody. So if they can even give away, admit this is a level to which they have reached. They don't give a damn about how the country feel, what they know, what you know, they don't care.
Great. Mr. Eastman, they went to you got roots in Grand Bassa. So you're benefiting from the $10,000 church. Your Bassa people are there praying business, so they get your $10,000 taxpayer money. I know you're laughing because it going to your people, your grandparents. Go ahead, your church got $10,000.
You know, I strongly believe that, you know, doing good for people is all right, but do it fairly. I believe in fairness, and that is why I think we seeing something that is taking place at an epic level. Never will we see what is about to take place. The kind of things that are happening, it's amazing. But I have a question for you and the panel here instead. You like your president, your president getting cahoots with people who fleecing the government. You like your senator, they get in cahoot with the people who fleecing the government. You like your representative, they get in cahoot with the people fleecing the government. What are you going to do now? What are the poor Liberian people going to do? Because no matter who they try to bring, they try to change, they find the same thing again and again and again. What do? They don't want to go to war. They don't want to go in the bush. They've tried that. That didn't work. What we got out of that, we got a dictator out of that whole thing. Okay? So what are the people going to do? Do we see something? Is corruption going to be in Liberia for perpetuity? Are we not going to ever have someone where they care about our posterity, they care about the children? You know, if we are not investing in our youth in the schools. That is where you will know we're thinking about the future. If we're not putting any money toward that at all, but having people they having cars is more important than LU students being able to go to school. Okay, and they say it openly, and they make a mockery of it. Talk about the Iraq keke to work. Who told? If you don't want to do the job, we need to fire you. Come bring keke or whatnot. Don't come to work. We need to fire you.
Not regular keke, but they put the executive plates on the keke.
Yes.
On register plate too on the keke.
They're trying to making money. They're trying to tell us, man, y'all move from here. You don't know anything you're doing. We'll
put a plate on the keke that is not registered.
Thank you. Mr. Padmore, you were end there, then you started last one here. We are let's look at.
I didn't have a chance to speak on this issue, Mr.
I didn't speak on the issue too myself.
Oh, okay.
I didn't speak on the issue.
Okay, I know you picking on Padmore. Padmore, I keep you for last. Mr. Morris, we are talking about. Let's talk about tribalism, sectionalism, corruption, and all this, because I listened to two people, and I just want you coming down to that $10,000, but I'm coming out. I'm setting the premise. I listened to John Molu. John Molu said Joseph Walker is worse than George Weah, worse than Ellen. He said he is so terrible. He has no clue. At the end, they asked him, amidst all of this, if you had a choice, you had to do it again, will you vote for him? He said yes. The same thing with Martin Collins. Martin Collins said, this government is headed the wrong way and it's terrible. I don't see any way out. But at the end, if Joseph Walker is on the ticket, I will support Joseph Walker. I'm saying this now, Nyobli Kanga and Dylan Gatobasa, they put $10,000 in there for their church in Grand Bassa. So it's it now that everybody like their own crook. So you defend your own crook. You don't care about the country. So we got $10,000 coming here, and people behaving like it's nothing. Mr. Morris.
So, Gamer, let me say this. I've said this on this platform. I'll re-echo it here again. Nobody Kanga Lawrence is doing this to solidify herself as a legitimate candidate come 2029. She's ingratiating herself with illicit, financial funds to these senators, so that they will be cajoled into supporting her presidential ambition. Her father, Abba Kanga, who is a political figure in that county, he was instrumental for Charles Bromston to get elected, senator, and that relationship was also reciprocated by, the late Senator Bromston, who turned over his party to Yombi Kanga Lawrence, the daughter of Abba Kanga. So we understand the dynamics, the political dynamics in Grand Bassa County. And these senators, all they want to be placated with financial, gains. They want to be, taken care of. Let the benefit come to them. Let them get all the money. Let them put even extra in the budget for them. Once you do that for them, they'll keep their mouth shut. And the president is trusting Yombi Kanga Lawrence to do that on his behalf. Just how Ellen had, a Nukwe, doing similar things with Brian Envelope. She's going to be that pinpoint person for President Barker to bribe the Senate, especially. And he's having more of a difficulty with Funati Kofa because, he looks at him as an opposition. But Yombi Kanga Lawrence is well within the pockets of the president. And she's as corrupt as they come. And she, like you said, Mr. Gaiman, she has never passed any legislation to better the lives of the Liberian people, let alone the lives of the people of Grand Bassa County. She has never done that. She takes these little token gifts back to the people of Grand Bassa, take these guys to go there for a retreat so they can rent out hotels and then, the young girls can come have a fun time, and then they go back to Monrovia and she say, oh, you saw I brought retreat to the county. That brought a little temporary boost to the economy. The reality is Jeremiah Kuhn now is starting to have to spawn to assert himself as the vice president of the republic. And he wants to try to curtail some of this power that Yombi Kanga is trying to grab from the executive, even though she's in the first branch of government. So for me, I see the political ploy here. And the reality is Yombi Kanga Lawrence will pretty much try to appease these guys by giving them everything that they want in exchange for the support come 2029. And I think President Barker knows what's going on, and he is allowing it to happen because in his mind, Yomri Kanga Lawrence is actually his real vice president, his de facto vice president. So Jeremiah Kuhn is pretty much a lame duck vice president who has no real power and has been stripped of it and has been bestowed on Yomri Kanga Lawrence, who is doing everything in a corrupt way that she know how to, with the help of her father, to try to solidify herself come 2029. This is what we're seeing before our eyes. I'll leave it there.
Great. Mr. Gay, your turn. We got 15 minutes to cover this and close and do the next one. Your turn, sir.
Look, Morris, you're absolutely right. That is the reason why the legislature cleverly designed a plan to put in $100,000 each for each representative and $150,000 for each senator. That money will be given to them each year for the next 6 years. So financially, they will be stable. They will be well positioned and will be ready to get reelected 2029. Even if they are not seeking the presidency, they will secure their re-election for the various positions. This is a clever plan because the $30,000 was not enough. They saw the challenge in 2023 where diaspora Liberians went back home and they were able to challenge them. Most of the veteran politicians, they got outed out of the process because people from the diaspora were prepared. This time around, they don't want that to happen. So that is the whole plot. These guys are doing things to keep people away from taking or competing with them. They don't want no competition. They are not in the interest of the Liberian people. They are in their own interest. If they can go and sit down and design a law to say, you know what, we'll drive on the opposite side of the street. Even if somebody died, we don't care. And they pass that law. And they are driving now on the opposite side of the street called third lane in Liberia. They can do anything to secure their seats. Look, how can you take 10,000 United States dollars and give to a church? There is a clear reason why the Constitution states separation of church and state. The church is a separate entity from the government. The government don't interfere with the church don't interfere with the government. Why are you taking government money to give to the church? So are you going to give every church $10,000 in Liberia? The answer is no. So what made this church any different from the other churches? Again, that is the behavior of our lawmaker. Liberians around the world, if you have an opportunity to see this video, here is a solution to this thing. If you have $5, $10, $20, we can raise it, out these people out. They don't like pressure. They do not like pressure. Protests can only work if the people are fed. If the people are not fed, they will run after all day. Nobody wants to stand in the sun, in the rain, in the heat with no food. If you have food in Liberia, you will have the people. You don't have to make an announcement. Let one person say, "Oh, enough food, yo." The people will come. That's what you need.
Thank you. Mr. Padmo, take us out, your Bassa people. We are hearing here that Dara Dillon, the folks of Monserrato are saying that they will not vote for him again. So someone is telling me he's building a big house in Grand Bassa County, and people are saying he's going to do a snow on the Bassa people on Monserrato. Run from Monserrato to Bomi. So Dara Dillon is trying to get in the good graces of the folks by giving money away because he made sure his name was on that bill that says he put $10,000 in there for the church.
Okay, so here's the thing. I believe that Liberia has come to a place where even when we're doing wrong, we don't recognize we do wrong. I actually went back and looked at the clip when Darius Dillon made this statement. And you can tell when he's saying it, you can tell he even know what he did was wrong. Nobody knew about this. He was actually speaking about the budget and the time spent. And in that explanation, He said, as a matter of fact, Sunday was in Basel. Sunday we went to church. And he said, Nimi, who all were in the church? He said, and we even gave $10,000 from the $50,000 to the church. I mean, that's how bad it has become. That even when there is wrong, people don't even recognize that it's wrong. So when you see that, even with our leaders, what do you think about the people? You know, and I see people talking about, oh, Mr. Kamara talking about, oh, why the people were cheering. I mean, that Brentford, I had it too. That Brentford, look, when Chatela were coming from Butuo, that Brentford were cheering, hoping. When Chatela read Morena, when you read Morena, everybody more better. That's how we don't do. We don't cheer for our own demise. We don't welcome it. November 12, we're in the street cheering. This is what we do. We cheer for those things. It doesn't mean it's good. It doesn't make it good. You know?
November 12th?
Yeah.
Thomas Kuonkpaku.
He was in 70. He was in 70. He didn't know.
Let me
introduce our guest here again. We got Mr. Jimmy Eastman. We got Mr. Padmo. We got myself here. We got Mr. Tawo. We got Mr. Nambe. We got Elvis. We got Kamara. Ladies and gentlemen, we got 1 minute each on this. It's a pressure mounting on Joseph Boakai. He went to Ghana overnight on helicopter flight. He flew with Uri on a private jet. A vice president flew to Ghana on private jet. He been flying private jet to South Korea, everywhere. Now he went to Nigeria. They say he flew. He made sure people saw him flying a commercial. Mr. Kamala, let me start with you. I didn't see this, but folks say your chief of staff, your godfather, the Civilian in chief, flew on local flight.
Okay. You just don't make a lot.
You got 1 minute.
I'm responding. You see, you deliberately try to interrupt me. Sometimes you don't make a lot of sense, Mr. Gilbert. But look here. The trip to Nigeria, nobody over here a private jet. How did you expect to ride a private jet? Nobody can hear one. He doesn't have one.
Go ahead.
Because he was offered those private jets. Nobody gave him private jet this time. He can steal it. Now, but let me just say something, Mr. Gilman.
So when they offer you anything, you just take it like that.
You just take it, man. That's it. I mean, the boy just put his mouth.
There you go. Well, offer you anything, you just take it like that. Where I don't know if that's the context you grab.
You know what they say about people who left free things? They will do anything for free things.
I'm going to go ahead. Okay. All right. So that whole thing is not even a topic. Anybody can understand that. Somebody want to see me 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock a.m. and this person is wealthy enough to say, okay, you know what? I don't want you to go through the hassle of sitting through a terminal and going from one connect flight to another. I'll send you my private jet. I'll be a fool to not take it. But this is what I will tell you. The topic you jump over me on, I want to touch it just a little bit. When people start making statements like, what is the difference between government and religion? There were not these guys, actually nobody, no government institution as a body should be taking money and giving it to any religious entity. All right? But the question we should be asking, and sometimes Darrell DeLong is looked at as a black sheep, but we wouldn't have known that there were $10,000 giving to Yomble's father's church if Darrell DeLong did not mention those things. When you condemn someone, you should also be brave enough to appreciate them for what they've done right. At least he put it out there so that you know. Now, we can sit and talk foul. If we cannot act, like some time ago, I brought a suggestion to people. When I said we talk more than we actually act sometimes, why don't we go to Liberia franchises, and open companies. The first thing they say, oh, the playing field is not there. The level playing field is not there. When a Ghanaian man wants to take a company to Liberia, oh, what interest the Ghanaian man got? He bribed the government. What do y'all want? Go to the next person.
Thank you. Mr. Tower.
Register business,
Listen, we got 1 minute on each, on the 1 minute each, guy. Mr. Tower, Mr. Kamara just said the president flew on commercial because nobody offered him private jet. Your take.
Yeah. So look at what happened here. Mr. Kamara want to try to sweep something under the rug here. The government committing crime and mentioning the crime and the corruption have nothing to do with somebody going to Liberia to invest. So because we point at the corruption, we should allow it because we are not going to Liberia to invest. Do you know the kind of investment that some of us have in Liberia?
No.
So you don't know that.
So
don't try to want to put that combine that kind of stuff.
We got 1 minute, guys. Let's hurry up.
But look, there is a question because I'm closing now. The president flying on helicopter or on palm leave or banana leave, that is not the point here. If the president was doing the right thing, if his government was functioning correctly, nobody wouldn't even care if the president flew on private jet. But if everything else is going wrong and everything you're doing is geared towards corruption and secrecy, and then when you're flying on private jet, then it becomes an issue. Actually, this is where the issue really is. If these guys are delivering, people really not care much. But look, to the point about Liberia, the people, Jimmy asked this question. Everybody that they elect, because this question right here is dear to my heart, and I've been mentioning it here. Everybody that they elect, they come there to do the same thing. They believe in this other person, they do the same thing. They believe in the president, they do the same thing. Gentlemen, the problem is the system. Let us look at the system. We don't want to do this. This should be a discussion here. Let us actually look at the system. The system is corrupt in its entire setup. If you are running and you need money and people are investing in you, the corruption starts right there at the point of campaigning to take office. So then you are beholden to those people that are funding you, then the people of Liberia that you're running to represent.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So let us look at it from that way and try to say, you know what? Why?
I'm going 3 minutes, man. I say 1 minute.
This way or that way.
Mr. Nambe.
Yeah. So quickly, my young friend who is writing in the chat here that we all need to be in Liberia to make a difference. You know, I'm here to let them know that last year alone, Liberia in a diaspora sent over $800 million to Liberia, bigger than the budget of Liberia. We're doing something. It's because of all that. Some people are actually surviving in Liberia. So let them process that. And let me tell Mr. Kamara here, you know, I don't understand sometimes some of the argument that he's making. Because Darrell Dillon took $10,000 from Maserati County, which he allegedly took for legislative development in Maserati, and took it to Bassa. And because he comes on TV to say that, that makes him what? Two wrongs are going to make it right? Is that the argument here? You know? So, look, I agree with Mr. Morris Elvis that these guys are all jogging for, 2029. I don't know about Darrell Dillon, whether he's going to run Maserati or what he's going to run back. But it is obvious that the pro tem is positioning herself. And I think the vice president has caught on to that. Otherwise, he wouldn't have come out recently, to claim his spot in the Senate. He knows what she's doing, took all the money and tried to let the Basel people know, politics is all about what have you done for me lately? And so she's positioning herself, and they all know this president may likely not be running for 2029, and everybody's trying to make their pitch. But if you're gonna do that, do it right. Do it the right way. Don't take the money that is supposed to be appropriated for something else, and you're going to use it to bolster your position in Bassa County. I'm not sure how much she's able to deliver from Bassa. Actually, I gotta go back and look at the numbers what she did last year. I know last time she ran against Philly.
She struggled to get re-election.
United Party lost Grand Bassa also. Don't forget
Our law is 1 minute now.
That's it.
Okay, so who's moderating here? Is it Mr. Kamara or who's moderating?
All of y'all talking, like, say, who moderating?
Listen.
But anyway,
Mr.
Mr.
Nambe, government hard to defend. Go ahead. Close.
no,
Not nice.
I'll give it back to Mr. Kamara. I think he probably has something to say. I'm
Great.
okay.
Mr. Gay, before I go to
Sir.
1 minute on the flight.
It was a distraction. I mean, that flight, the flying commercial. They may spend 12 years flying with my early on commercial flight. So what is the big deal, right? I told you they are very good at propaganda. You see, right now we're pounding the government trying to deflect the conversation to a flight thing. So for me, that flight thing doesn't mean anything. Like Mr. Tawo said, if the government is doing well, you want private jets, fine. Right? The Air Force One are even more expensive to fly than the private jet, because with all the equipment on the Air Force One. So if Liberia can find an Air Force One or Air Force Two for Liberia, that's fine.
Great.
But we're not doing well. So I don't have no qualm with that.
Yeah, let me go on this, Mr. Gimmy.
Mr. Morris.
Look, I would tell the president to take a page out of Darius Dillon's, playbook. Put it in the budget that we are allowed to rent private planes for our president. It's a national security risk. Our president's life is not in his own hands when he's in a commercial flight. It can be hijacked by terrorists. Pilot can be drunk. He may have a heart attack or stroke and crash the plane and kill our president. God forbid. So having control over the life of your president as a sovereign nation is important. So flying private plane to say you're saving $2,000 by or you're saving $10,000 by flying a commercial, when in fact you're stealing tens of millions of dollars. Well, what difference does it make? Or you're misappropriating a lot of money in the country. It doesn't make a big difference. Secure the life of our president first and foremost, and put it in the budget. We can afford a private jet for our president. We can.
I think there is a slight consolation from this, though. I think this is the president. This is the president who seems to be listening.
Yeah. Gentlemen, I was in aviation for a minute, and it is quite costly flying a private jet as compared to commercial. Now, I always talk to. I want to commend the president and his administration for trying to save money in one aspect. That is good. But when you leaving a gaping hole by bypassing the rules and regulations for obtaining concessions and processing procurement, is you kind of make everybody suspect. Is this just a mistake? It doesn't look like a mistake. Or are people in your government so zealous that they go ahead, finalize agreement, knowing very well they haven't processed it through the proper process in Liberia? So I think I'm not sure if this is a bunch of blunders combined with lack of knowledge, but it is the perfect cloud that a thief needs to do his thing. And if these things continue, people who really want to steal, it giving them the perfect cloud of cover. So the commercial plane is good. There's a security involved in it, but I think maybe purchasing a plane, if you guys really want to know, I will look into purchasing a plane as opposed to leasing a plane. But I think there are other things we need to pay attention to, and I don't see it. And if we don't give those things priority, many years down the road, we're talking about 2029. I see chaos in 2029. I see a lot of chaos. Unless Vice President Kuhn becomes president before 2029, I see a whole lot of chaos in 2029. That's why I will leave it.
Thank you. Mr. Padmore.
All right. So, look, President Boycott flew commercial flight. He went Nigeria. Not far, Liberia. Look, this is what I would say. If this is an attempt to save money fine. If this is an attempt just to decrease the tempo and the pressure, it's irresponsible. You have to be smart, okay? What I expect from this government or any responsible government is after a year of traveling, I'm not just talking about the president, I'm talking about traveling. The president, the vice president, the speaker, the pro temp, sit down, analyze your budget. How much did you spend? Is it worth it to fly commercial? Is it worth it to lease a plane? Is it worth it to purchase a plane? Is it worth it to contract with a private jet company? You have leverage. You are a government, you have leverage. You can enter these negotiations, and then you can come back to the people and make a case. And say, look, we spent $6 million last year on traveling for the president, the vice president, the speaker, the pro tem, the chief justice, the 5 most important people in the government right now. If we had a plane that we had leased from a particular company where we got a good deal, we could have saved ourselves $3 million. It's all about communication. If you communicate that to the people, nobody here will say, don't fly private jet. The reason why we say don't fly private jet is because we believe it's expensive. That's what we believe. If you can prove to us it's cheaper, then of course we'll go for it. But you have to communicate with the people. And it's something that this government has refused to do. They just do what they want to do. Like Ms. Kamara said, the machine here, what do you do now? I won't be surprised tomorrow you see the private jet parking around for you. They say the private jet, yeah, what do you do now? You want to send the private jet back? It's just these little things, these nuances that they tell us. They look at how they tell us. We sit down, we read. They say, we enter a contract with local companies, $22 million to keep the roads pliable throughout the rainy season. Then you come out to that and say, we spent $22 million. We only spent $8 million. You enter a contract, you are obligated to $22 million. Whether you get a man $1 today, you get him $2 tomorrow, you are obligated to $22 million. And you will have to pay that $22 million. Come whatever happens, you have to pay it. You might as well check it off. But you say, no, I only get a man $8.9 million. So the other $11.1 million, so that $4 from what place? These are the things I'm talking about. The president has refused to sit and interact with reporters. Bring the people up to speed on what's going on. What's your thought process? What are you thinking about this? What are you thinking about that? Nothing. We're just flying. The country just blind. And the only thing they have to tell us is, yeah, now, so what do we do? We'll send it back.
Thank you. Mr. Tao, your closing, sir. Your closing.
Logo, part of my closing, you better be careful. According to Kamara Bwaka, is a quiet man. He take action. He don't talk. So if you think that he's going to come to the Liberian to say anything, Kamara don't want to hear that. Okay, but look, guys, there is one thing. As we've been talking, as these guys have gone rogue. The whole government, led by the legislature, that actually supposed to be the one that represent the actual people, from what they're doing, from what the dealings are saying from the president, the executive, by the way, stole 22 million. I have people that are traveling from Grand Crew to Riverside to all these places. All of the roads are all damaged. That's how people come from Chien, from Tapeta. The roads are all messed up. So even if they're claiming that 8.9 million, where was it used? And if you're looking for a yellow machine, if you give this money to a company, which machine did they use to do the work? So these are the things. And then they're coming back, they're stealing money, putting money in. The president did their own retreat, senators did theirs, representatives just did theirs. Okay? But look, after we discuss all this stuff, there is one thing that is very, very much glaring, right? Nobody wants to mention it, but from the action that this government is taking, not just from the time and the building up to this government, they're leading the country to crisis. That is the only outcome. If they can halt, or if they can make a U-turn, or if they can stop, they are leading this country into crisis.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Namwe.
Listen, I'll close out by saying I think the president downgrading to commercial. I know there are security implications and all of that, but I think there's a little bit of silver lining here. I think this is a president who is listening, and I think he's being responsive. I think that gives room for hope. So kudos.
Mr. Morris, I can't see the silver lining. So this guy, he glasses might have extra lenses that I don't have.
Don't forget the same man that said the president is shot. He on top of things. But look, let me say this. I think President Boyka, if I could speak to you, please stay away from gangsterism. You know, I would take a book out of Mr. Cummings' page where he says, you know, it's not his quote, but doing the same thing again, expecting different results is insanity, right? You saw it on Ellen, you were there first, and you saw the bad things that she did that didn't work for the country. You witnessed on this from the sideline, President, we all the bad things that he did that didn't help the country. Then you come there with the advantage of hindsight to be able to look back and see all of these things these people did, and you're doing the same thing. It's very much disheartening and disappointing. So please, we tell you will be better. We tell you will be more integrous. We tell you will keep people in check. You're not doing it so far. There's always time on your, you know, by the grace of God, you got time on your side to rectify some of these things. And we pray that you do for the sake of our people. Thank you.
Joseph Boyka is in 89th year.
Can I
So
close now?
he doesn't have time on his side. Go ahead, Mr. Kamara.
Thank you. Everybody follow it. Look, first of all, before I do my final closing, let me just say this to Focus on Liberia. They do try to balance the tie in terms of public opinions and views. I was watching a show today. I think it's a New Day. The lady on there, I don't necessarily agree with her equality debate, but there was a show on there today about African spirituality. I want some of you guys who have become so captured and indoctrinated by not only Western civilization, but the white man's spiritualism to go and listen to that show.
3 minutes already gone. You missed that closing.
When you talk about spirituality
so listen. So this is one of the way to liberate yourself, Mr. Nankwe, you particular. This is one of the way to liberate yourself from this mental, you know, what you want to.
Well, you're Muslim, my man. You Middle Eastern man.
Yeah, that black people.
Bible.
Yeah.
So I am mentally enslaved.
I didn't say that. You ended that. Imadunga will say Angli Male Kumatola Sena. So, anyways, look.
I thought you said you were from Basa again.
Let me close. Okay, listen. Joseph Boyka is doing the right thing for the Liberian people. We know surrogates and pundits will not be happy, and we expect them to express themselves. This is part of the democratic process. Joseph Boyka have said no one person shall be intimidated or robbed of their right to speak their mind. We want you to keep on talking. Don't stop. It will help the society. However, what works for the Liberian people? When I'm talking about the people, I'm talking about the people that still talk dry meat in Kenya and put it on their head. Those are the people we're talking about. Those are the people Joseph Boyka relate to. And we're going to listen to them more than we listen to the pundit. Thanks, gentlemen, for having me. The government will move forward. We'll connect our roads. We'll make water and sanitation possible.
Illegally.
We'll move forward. Thank you so much.
Illegally.
Mr. Eastman, how does a country connect the road, sanitation, when all the money are stolen up front? Mr. Eastman, you're closing.
Well, you know, Mr. Kamara is talking one philosophy about ends justify the means. Machiavellian. No, you cannot just do anything and be satisfied with the result, because by circumventing your processes, look what happened since 98. If we circumvented the electoral process, do you see what has happened since then? We always have to go through the ballot box. If we had gone through the ballot box, we wouldn't be where we are today. So I don't believe circumventing our processes, our constitution is the solution. If you want to do good, abide by the rules. You're setting an example for the future. You're setting an example for the children and the generations to follow. But when it comes to changing the road and infrastructure condition, Mr. Tao, yeah. If you don't have a good engineering plan, you're wasting your time. All those machines will not do anything. You have to coordinate. It's Mr. Kamara, when you building a house, you have to make sure you test the ground first.
I'm sure they do
that. If that ground not good for you to build a house, don't build a house there. So you come build a house, you test the ground, it's swamp ground. The next thing you know, the whole structure's sinking. You are wasted money. We're trying to say we need a comprehensive plan on how we go about connecting roads, encouraging agriculture, and most especially developing our youth. Our youth are being left behind, and I think it is purposely being left behind because they know when they have people who can't think critically, they can't evaluate these things they do on an upper level, so they can take advantage of them. That is what I truly believe, that those in power they don't care about educating the youth because they know they will take advantage of our people because they don't have that critical analysis they need to understand what they're doing. So machines are no machines. If you're not doing it right, you're just wasting time. And the result, in the end, you will see. I hope my philosophy doesn't come through, but in the end, you will see.
Mr. Kamara, man, wait a minute, was nothing.
Mr. Pablo, take us out.
Thank you so much. I will try to be brief.
Thank you.
Look, one of the things I've learned when I came to America concerning governance is that whether it's laws, statutes, or just action by the leaders of today, that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is who comes after you. Today, United Party is in power, and Mr. Kamara might have a certain degree of respect and confidence in Joseph Boyka, but you have to ask yourself, who's coming after Joseph Boyka? Who will be the president 20 years from now?
Oh, get that, we'll cross it.
No, we can't do that.
That's a careless mentality.
Get there, we'll cross it when we get there. We have those things. There's a reason why we have laws in place. So whether it is Joseph Boyka who you trust, or whether it is George Weah who you don't trust, the law will hold you so that you do things the right way, so that tomorrow our children, our grandchildren are protected when we no longer can protect them. This is the reason why we do the things. So yes, sometimes it's difficult. Sometimes it's frustrating that a president wants to do certain things, but the legislature is holding him. They are withholding funds. They are dragging their feet, and you feel frustrated as an executive. But when you look at the big picture, it is for the better good. It's a long-lasting effect. So with that being said, please allow me to end with this. It's very important. I campaigned for Senator Darius Dillon. Senator Darius Dillon is like a brother to me. I love him dearly, even though we don't always agree. But sometimes Liberia has to trump the things that we do. So please give me a second here. Let me share this with you guys.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the media in the country that were there saw the Senate in church at the World War Mission Church in Grand Master Camping. The Senate was in church. Senator Sir Joseph, Senator Lawrence, Senator Dillon, Senator Ellis Tyler, Senator Prince Moise, Senator Daba Fabla, Senator, you name them. We all were in church. We made contribution to the church of $10,000 even out of the amount. $10,000. The Senate leadership spoke and Prince Moyi, as chairman of Ways and Means, made every Snow was there, Creighton Duncan was there, and you name them. We all were there, senators.
So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let me just unshare here. All right, thank you so much. And I will close with that. Liberia has to be bigger than all of us.
Thank you.
That was wrong. I'll be the first person to tell my brother Dylan. That was wrong. They need to refund that money. That's the people's money.
Smart people don't incriminate themselves like they don't do just now.
Yeah, they need to pay. You know what I mean? Look, it's okay for senators to put money together and give to the church. I don't get a problem with that one. But the budget that was for an occasion, function, and also give it to the church.
You're right for the first time tonight. You're right.
Baba, man, gotta go.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in. As for me, I am not surprised, Joseph Boyka, because we knew this. Joseph Boyka said Ellen was corrupt. He said Ellen was wrong because Ellen squandered. Ellen squandered. That's what he said. Squandered opportunities. So he was coming, a man who had the data, 12 years of data as vice president, and then 6 years as in opposition, seeing all of these ills, he said, I'm going to hit the ground running. We told you so. Joseph Boyka had the gall to go on national TV and say, let him be on social media complaining, I'm going to do what I have to do. And then all of these are falling out of place. We have seen $22 million. We saw the inauguration fund. We saw the fiasco at the inauguration. We saw what the man said about the $600,000 that every county got something. He took some off the top. All of these things are falling in place, which tells me that this man is even worse than President Weir and Ellen combined, because these people have something in place, the PAPD or something, and we held them to it. Now Mr. Kamara said they spent $8.9 million. Where he got that figure from? Where's the receipt? Who the check was written to? When the check was written? Where's the contract? Nothing. There's nothing happening here. But he says this is what the people in Canada want. They got Kenya on their low, and how Joseph Boyka spent the money means absolutely nothing. This is what we're supposed to believe. Ladies and gentlemen, Liberia is in trouble because we now have a precedent that the next president is going to come and say, I'm going to give the church $10,000 or $1 million because we have done it before. I'm going to buy a boat. Joseph Boyka did it. He bought a yellow machine. He didn't go through the Senate. I can do it. We have precedent. This is why the Supreme Court of the United States, they do not do everything that people say. They go by precedent. They say this has been done before. It was done in Great Britain. It was done here. And yes, we can use that as precedent. It's law.
Precedent.
We can do that. So here we are. Joseph Boyka has set an example that will, like Mr. Padmo said, will follow us, our children, our great-grandchildren, because now there is no rule of law. You can do as you wish. And the Senate, as embarrassing as they are, to say we forgave the public work minister.
And they forgive the finance minister too.
Do they have the power to pardon? So, Mr. Political Analyst, we are in hot water and we will continue to go this way. We are treading the wrong path and we have become a nation of lawlessness. If you go to Liberia, you have to protect yourself. The young man that was killed this week, he was shot, 11-year-old. The question was, when do you shoot? What is the standard operation process when it comes to policing? When do you shoot? How do you shoot? Why? Nobody's answering the question. And here we are. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in. We will be here next Sunday, and we will address one question. The new city, we are talking about building a new city. Is it justified? Does it make sense? Is it feasible?
Greenville, Sano County, got a port, it got a seaside, it's a perfect place. It's not developed. We're gonna develop it.
So next Sunday, it's gonna be on the menu. We are talking about a new city. Does it make sense? Can we do it? And should we do it? Ladies and gentlemen, as always, Mr. Michael Padmo, please take us out. We are all Liberian, whether you are Mr. Kamara, you see, he left before they closed it, so he didn't want to hear it. But no matter what, it is just beginning. Thank you very much. As always, we are all Liberians.
We are Liberians. Liberia is our home.